Did you still have that motivation, have that excitement to ride your bike, or what was the toll that it had taken on you mentally by this point?
Yeah, I think the mental side was just as tough as the physical side, because I had been running over myself for so long. The motivation to ride also started diminishing. And that was really, really tough because riding for me was always my happy place. And so once I noticed that motivation start to dwindle, instead of taking a step back, I pushed harder into it and thought I would snap back into it if I just kept things the way they were and stuck to my routine. Um, and so accepting that I needed the rest and that I needed to take a break was super difficult, because it had become such an integral part of my week, my day. Yeah, it just being out of your routine was hard to deal with. Having your It was kind of my balance to my work. Having that gone and not finding I didn't find a replacement for it right away, so I just kind of left that vacancy. There was a gap that cycling would fill, and to have that spot empty in my day was difficult. At first, it was all right because I was just so tired and all I wanted to do was sleep. But then after a while, this uneasiness started settling in of, okay, now what? What do I do with the time?
Yeah, there's a the benefit of exercise, and people kind of encourage people to exercise because you have all of these endorphins, you get outside, you meet people, you can enjoy nature and feeling stronger and faster. But then the flip side of it is when you stop that, you really miss that. And one of my husband's relatives, he's really into his running, and if they're on holiday with he's got some small kids, and if they're on holiday, he'll still make time to go out and run.
Mhm.
And you're like, oh wow, you must love running. He's like, I'm just a nicer person after I've run. That is it. And it is
Yeah.
that as simple as that, because sometimes if you feel out of sorts, it's kind of a go-to thing. If you're someone who enjoys sport, it's the go-to, it's the routine, it's who you are, it's what you like to do. So
Mhm.
immediately to have that taken away from you, I always think that it's mentally even more challenging than the physical side of it, because you're sitting there, you have all of this time as well suddenly in your hands to think about it, to process it, to miss it, to grieve it, I guess, as
Mhm.
well.
Mhm.
And also the waiting, the patience of that. And people generally, they have there's an issue with rest in the athletic realm.
Yeah.
There's a big issue that no one's really solved apart from kind of get through rest days.
Mhm.
And there's always been this big thing about resting, how to rest, how best to rest, when to rest, how much to rest. And to have all of your sport being taken away and having to rest is quite terrifying for anybody. And I imagine you also found that really, really daunting. So how did you actually apply that? Like, what does that look like in terms of recovery from overtraining? Because is it as simple as just resting?
Yeah, well, at the beginning, I think I didn't really know what to do with my time, so it was as simple as resting. It really was just I think I was getting on average 10 hours of sleep. I'd make a point to get to bed really early, and wake up when I had to. So, really, it was a big focus on getting a good, long sleep routine in. And luckily, my schedule allowed that, with all the free time that I wasn't spending on the bike. And then I applied at first an almost training way to approach to my rest. So, um, the doctors had told me that I was allowed to do like half an hour of easy spinning, like really easy, like soft pedaling, or half an hour of walking. So I was just really strict about my walking. I would get in a good half an hour to an hour walk every day, um, often before work when it allowed it, or after work. So I got really into walking. That was great. And then I started looking at other bits of my life that I could improve to start working towards building a good base and a good routine once I did start training again. So I started looking at things like my morning routines. And so I got better about waking up, having food, and then having coffee, for example. So I started tweaking little things that will hopefully down the road, once I start training again, bring me some benefits.